Checking in with you late here on a Tuesday night following Iowa's 86-60 victory over the Michigan State Spartans inside Carver Hawkeye Arena. An historic night for the Hawkeyes, and of course we didn't have our live post-game show with Coach Gary Close due to a scheduling conflict, but I actually just got done watching this game, so I thought I would check in with you guys and just kind of give my reaction. First of all, what a night it was for Luka Garza. You see Frank Garza back in the building. You see Luka's girlfriend in there. You see the Marble family. You've got the Murrays there. I mean, it's just incredible. That arena was absolutely bonkers tonight. Congratulations to the Murray-Weir family, certainly the Marble family, and certainly the Garza family. But this was the Keegan Murray show again tonight. 28 points for Keegan Murray. He is on a different wavelength right now. The efficiency is off the charts. 10 of 15 from the field, 5 rebounds. And we're starting to see a bit of a trend, at least these last 2 to 3 games, of the pecking order. And it took a while for this to really shake out offensively. We saw games where Patrick was the second leading scorer. We had games even where Philip Rebracha was the second leading scorer. It now seems to be the Keegan plus Kris plus Bohannon show, and I think that might be the key to victory because Kris Murray and Jordan Bohannon right now are shooting the three really well. As we take a look at Jordan Bohannon's numbers, so 11 points for Jordan, and Jordan was 3 of 7 from 3, which is a good number. You can live with that number if you're a Hawkeye fan in just 23 minutes. And again, he's getting you 10, 11 a game now in conference play. That's going to be a winning number if you're Jordan Bohannon and if you're the Hawkeyes. Kris Murray, 11 points, 3 rebounds. Kris was 3 of 5 from 3 with 3 boards. So, again, if they can get 3-point production, you see the total numbers for the Hawkeyes, 12 of 28. They're going to win a lot of games shooting at this clip because they've got the athleticism to play good man-to-man defense, which they are doing right now. Not saying it's great. It's good. They're playing good enough man-to-man defense. Right now, their zone's not getting, at least didn't get picked apart here against Michigan State, and it didn't get picked apart the little they played in the second half against Ohio State. But as Coach Gary Close has brought up, they are playing less and less zone, and that's certainly a good thing. We're seeing them get better in the man-to-man, and it's helping Iowa to performances like this. I mean, a 26-point victory over a Tom Izzo team. And I know this isn't a typical Spartan team, but look, the Spartans were 18-8 heading into this game. They were 9-6 in the conference. I mean, this is still a good Michigan State team. Michigan State team, it was a top 20 team as of last week, and the Hawkeyes went in here and routed them tonight. Taking a look at turnovers, Iowa, again, 8 turnovers. Michigan State actually took care of the ball pretty well, but Iowa is just not losing this battle to anyone. I'm going to go back tomorrow and just look to see how many games Iowa has lost that battle. I think you can probably count the number of games on one hand, and Iowa has played 26 games, or excuse me, 27 games. My guess is you can count the number of turnover battles lost on one hand for this entire season. The Hawkeyes taking care of the ball, and certainly they can do that away from home, which they have done. They can win in March, and that is a very encouraging thing. Rebounding, this is, as you know, Tom Izzo and Michigan State typically a very, very tough rebounding team. Bingham's long. You've got Marble that bangs inside. Iowa winning this battle 44-43. If they can do this against the likes of Michigan State, look out. Iowa turning the corner at the right time. Now, I want to preface this by saying we know basketball, especially Iowa basketball, if you're an Iowa basketball fan, is traditionally, under Fran McCaffrey, a season of ebbs and flows. Although this year Iowa has actually sort of went against the grain in that regard because Iowa hasn't dropped really any games that were you'd consider bad losses. I mean, even you look at the Rutgers game on the road, Rutgers is now likely to be a tournament team. They lost at Penn State, but look, Penn State's knocked some teams off there in Pennsylvania. And it was a double overtime game, and it probably should have been an Iowa victory if a traveling call gets made on a last-second three in the first overtime for Penn State. So my point is Iowa's quote-unquote bad losses, if you want to call them that, have been close. And now they're starting to beat teams. I mean, beat Ohio State by double figures. They absolutely rout Michigan State. Now, we remember the net rankings, which the NCAA committee looks at as part of their algorithm for seeding teams in the tournament. the net ranking, you know, point differential, it's capped at 10. So if Iowa wins by 26 or 10, it's the same. But the point is, here you have a win at Ohio State by double figures, and now a win against Michigan State by double figures. So is Iowa turning the corner at the right time? Certainly appears so. If you look back at Iowa's schedule now, if you're not counting back into January, Iowa, of course, dropping their last 2 games in the month of January. But since then, they beat Minnesota by double digits. They beat Maryland by 23. They beat Nebraska by 23. They did drop the game at home to Michigan. I know that's one, and I know some of the Iowa players talked about that game after the Ohio State win. That was a game they wanted back. That was a game they felt like they left some plays out there, and I would certainly agree with that. That's a good Michigan team, but it's a team that Iowa could have beaten, should have beaten at home. But to follow it up by winning at Ohio State and now blowing the doors off a good Spartans team, which, by the way, is a quad 1 win, Iowa certainly seems to be turning the corner. Now you get 2 of the worst teams in the conference by the numbers. Now, I will say this, Northwestern, they're dangerous, but they are coming to Carver. Iowa by no means should lose to Nebraska on Friday. Not saying it's impossible, but they should not lose to Nebraska on Friday. So you win that game on Friday, you're going to have an opportunity to go back to Northwestern at 10-7 in the conference. And I'll just say this right now. I said it a long time ago. Gary Close and I both talked about this. For Iowa not to make the tournament, I think they'd have to go 9-11. And I stand by that. Even if it means 2 losses against the likes of Nebraska on the road and Northwestern at home, I believe the only scenario now where Iowa misses out on the tournament, the only conceivable scenario where Iowa misses out in the tournament is if they lose out. They have to lose out. They are in if they don't. So you can drop a game to Northwestern. I'm not encouraging that. You can drop a game to Nebraska. I'm not encouraging that. The point is, Iowa is in a very good position. And with this win, I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Lunardi, who had Iowa as a high 7 on Tuesday, moving them on up to close to that 6 seed range. And again, you win these next 2, take care of business. It's going to be an interesting early March going to Champaign, going to Ann Arbor, a Michigan team that's missing Juwan Howard. It's going to be a very interesting, and Michigan's going to be playing for its tournament lives. So should be intriguing. Iowa right now tied with Michigan State in the win and loss column. So Iowa tied for 6th in the conference. They're just 1 game back of Rutgers, game and a half back of Ohio State. They, of course, would have the head-to-head against Ohio State. I mean, there's the leader right now in the conference has 4 losses. Iowa's actually not that far. Technically, Iowa's not mathematically eliminated from the Big Ten title race. I'm certainly not implying that they're going to compete for it up until the last week. But right now, Iowa rolling, and that is good news if you're a Hawkeye. So to recap this game this evening, Keegan Murray with 28 points, 10 of 15 from the field with 5 rebounds. Kris Murray coming off the bench with 11 points, 3 rebounds. Jordan Bohannon, 11 points. A lot of these shots from all 3 of those guys were 3-pointers, and it combined to make Iowa 12 of 28 from 3. It was good to see Connor McCaffrey hit a couple threes as well. He's starting to get that stroke. Boy, if he starts making threes, look out. I mean, that is huge. That would be a huge development for Iowa if you can start getting 3-point production out of Connor McCaffrey. He did leave. It looked like his arm got banged up, and I have not gotten a chance to listen to Fran McCaffrey post-game. You hope that Connor is okay. Same arm that he injured on the road at Penn State a couple of weeks ago. But the bottom line is everybody produced tonight. I think Aaron Eulis is playing well. Joe Toussaint's a dog. He comes in there and just scraps and fights and digs. He is going to be an asset moving forward. And Rebraca's playing hard right now. You know, he's only 4 points tonight, but 7 boards in 22 hard-fought minutes. Again, undersized against Marcus Bingham. Just really impressed with this team right now, and they seem to be peaking at the right time, which is what we talked about back in November. It's kind of a slow start. You know, they struggled on the road at Iowa State. They struggled at home against Illinois, and they struggled to beat better teams like Purdue. But right now, Iowa is riding high. You ride this momentum into Lincoln. You bring it back for senior night. where you will officially send off Jordan Bohannon, potentially send off Keegan Murray. I mean, I have a hard time seeing him come back. I know that's a discussion we can have on a different day, and I know Gary Close feels the same way. Right now he's playing NBA basketball, and he's the best player on the court every night he sets foot on the court. I mean, I don't remember the last time, maybe that Wisconsin game. He played evenly with Johnny Davis, but he was better than EJ Liddell the other night, and he'll get an opportunity to showcase himself in March away from home. They don't play a single game. Think about this. They don't play a single game in March at home. They're done on February 28th. So it'll be all road games and neutral site games from then forward. And boy, wouldn't it be nice to see some success from Iowa in the Big Ten tournament. All right, folks, wanted to check in with you this evening. I know this is late. Hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to this maybe early Wednesday morning. We will be back with you later Wednesday. Actually, I'm recording this. It's like 12:35 a.m. Wednesday. Release of my next podcast later on today on this channel from the Hawkeye of the Storm on YouTube. You can also hear it through Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And then we will be back with Coach Gary Close Friday night following Iowa, Nebraska in Lincoln for Iowa postgame with Coach Gary Close. Go Hawks, everybody. It's a good time to be a Hawkeye. Have a great night.